Okay, guys. Sorry about the little interruption by my mom, but we're gonna try this again without any interruptions. Okay? So, if you know, seen the thumbnail and you know what this is, this is something I've been wanting to do for some time now, since I didn't get to be a part of the Amazing Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2002 commentaries that were hosted by my friend Anthony Jenkins on his channel, which the Spider-Man 2, 3, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 commentaries I re-uploaded here. So I'm here to talk about the very first Spider-Man movie for its 15-year anniversary, and it is, of course, the best pre-MCU incarnation. This is the first film in the Raimi trilogy, and this was one of 2002's biggest hits. So, I'm here to talk about Spider-Man 2002. Now, I will be doing solo commentaries for this movie, as well as one for The Amazing Spider-Man. So, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 will come this weekend. So, here we go, guys. And before I get started, let me just say, I'm going to be praising and talking about the movie. And I'm not going to do too much comparing to Andrew Garfield's movie series. So, let's get started, shall we? I'm counting down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. So, any minute now, and again, we're talking about this one. If you want to see the commentaries that I re-uploaded from Anthony Jenkins' channel for Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I re-uploaded them here with brand new thumbnails I created from PicMonkey. And my Daredevil commentary I just recently did, so you guys can go check that out as well. So, here we go. Need to go back. Going. Yeah. So, okay. I think now it should start. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry about technical difficulty. Sorry about this, guys. Oh, and if you're curious on how I'm watching this movie, I'm not watching it in my DVD player. I'm watching it on a tablet that I'm being allowed to borrow, because my tablet I don't have anymore. But I'm getting a replacement for it. So, here we go. Alright. Just getting ready now. We're going to start over. And so, here we go. Mommy! So, we are starting off. Oh. Okay, we are starting. Mama. No. I gotta get to to the 0. All right. Okay, so we start off with the Columbia logo. Pretty awesome logo. Of course, you have the Danny Elfman music there. I like his music in Justice League. I don't see what the problem was with his music in there. The Marvel logo, as seen in other Marvel movies, And we have our opening title sequence with this awesome music and this crazy title sequence, webs, Marvel Enterprises, the late Laura Ziskin. There it is. Starring Tobey Maguire. Basically, I do like how the title sequence plays out. It's pretty awesome. All the names of the people who are in it and starring in it against these webs, and yeah, all I applaud Imaginary Forces for this creative, amazing title sequence here. It's just awesome. J.K. Simmons, of course, yeah. What would a Spider-Man movie? Love these titles. Casting by Francis Maisler and Lynn Cressall. Co-producer Grant Curtis, of course. Music by Danny Elfman. Love that composer. He's an awesome composer. I don't care what people say about his music for Justice League. It was fine. You people have a problem with hearing classic themes. You guys are gonna have to deal with it, cause that's what they wanted to do. Director of Photography, Don Burgess. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just adding something. It's in the description box, because that way people will know what I'm talking about. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, you really created an amazing character. How does David Cobb get solo credit and not the other writer who helped finish this one rewrites? I don't know. Directed by Sam Raimi. I do like this narration, though. Tobey Maguire's narration in all three of these films. Now, will I do a commentary for Spider-Man: Homecoming? I don't really know yet. But there is Mary Jane Watson, played by beautiful, gorgeous Kirsten Dunst, and just a bunch of kids, and you see Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. I know a lot of people make fun of Tobey Maguire and say that he's not Spider-Man Peter Parker, but he's pretty good. Now, I will be doing one for the Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm not gonna do Amazing Spider-Man until this weekend. So, but I like this casting choice for Peter Parker, Spider-Man. People complain he's nerdy. That's how he is in the comics. He's not supposed to be a freaking douche. And you see Mary Jane, and they are just really like their friends. You see Willem Dafoe and James Franco, great introductions to them as both Norman and Harry Osborn. James Franco is the definitive Green Goblin. I don't care what anyone says. and you see them. I like their friendship here, and we didn't get any kind of friendship. I wish we had more friendship moments in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 before they just decide to make Harry Green Goblin call off Gwen. I'm sorry, but that's basically what Sony did, just so people could like it. Now you understand why I say Sony ruins everything. It's the same company who turned Ghost Rider into PG-13 Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is not PG-13. He is PG rated. He's R rated. Back in action. Come on. Anyways, this I enjoy. It's a very well handled sequence. I really like it. It's so cool. And you see Peter taking pictures, and the bullies are just messing around with him. And you see Peter getting bullied. And the teacher says that if they keep on messing with him, that they're going to fail the course. Sorry about my little phone acting up, dear guys. I hope you guys can bear with me. You see, both of them. And you see him taking pictures, and then of people. Fairly enjoy it. This scene you're seeing now with Mary Jane and Harry talking about spiders. And then the science says the person who works there. Yeah. You were talking about the woman's side. Let's talk about listening. And so you see that now everyone is looking, and and he asks her to could he take a picture of her, and don't make her look ugly, Peter. Anything from this movie I could quote, and the other two films, and Spider-Man Homecoming, I would rather quote than The Amazing Spider-Man 1. And the spider is going right to Peter, and it is about to bite him. And just got bitten. And you see the results. A new species. And now we go to the Oscorp situation with his father. I like this, like seeing what they're trying to do here. Norman's Norman is trying to get this glider and his suit approved, his new experiments he's been working on, but it's not going too well. Except for Dr. Strom, and you see these two Dr. Strom, and they need to take the whole thing back to formula. Sorry about the little bad connections popping up, but I'm going to make it through this. How far am I so far? Only 12 minutes in. We kind of got a little late, but okay. And these people are just jerks, telling him that he either has to do this. And now we get introduced to the best Uncle Ben and Aunt May. The late Cliff Robertson and Rosemary Harris. They do good job. Great job here. Good casting too. They're much better than Martin Sheen and Sally Field. But I do like Aunt May in the MCU. I like Marissa Tomei's Aunt May. Like I said, she's gorgeous, and we got one person watching now. So, you see, Uncle Ben's trying to find a job, and Aunt May, they're both trying to, they're talking, and and there's Tobey Maguire, and he tells him that he's going to sleep. And the spider bite thing is kicking in, and he falls on the ground, and he knows that this spider bite that he just got bitten is taking effect, and we do hear the voices from the doctor. And you see all what's going on. Spiders going around, and then the red and blue, and then we go back to Oscorp. This detail is just justified, and we see them trying to get this test, see what it will do, see what it's gonna do. Dr. Strom and Willem Dafoe, and what he's basically saying to Dr. Strom, then they'll lose the contract, and Oscorp is going to be gone, no longer his name. But he decides to do this, and he drinks this potion liquid, and It's and he's trying to see how it will work. Willem Dafoe is a good casting choice for this for this character. I know a lot of people make fun of the suit, which we'll get to the suit. I defend the Green Goblin suit. If you all went with green and purple, it will look way more laughable for me. I know that's a signature comic look, but we don't need to see him wearing purple. Is there something weird about it? Him wearing purple, you know? And you see what is going on with him. Now, this movie did take a lot of time to make. Trying to get this movie off the ground for so long, and they finally got it off grounds. You see him going crazy with what's happening to him, and he's officially transforming. Norman. And then Dr. Strong's trying to see if he's alright, but he wakes up and but Dr. Strong wakes up and grabs him and says, "Back to formula." And then that's where the Green Goblin side starts to come out of him. Now you see Peter Parker waking up, and he's trying to see if what's going on with him. And this is where he realizes that he has changed. It took 25 years to get this movie out. So many different scripts. All the options from MGM, Canon, New Canon Films, Carolco, multi-script acquisition, different screenplays written by James Cameron, Ted Newson, John Bricado, Barney Cohen, Joseph Goldman, multiple directors including Roland Emmerich, M. Night Shyamalan, Tony Scott, Chris Columbus. A lot of people were this. It took a lot of guts to get this movie out, and I respect them for doing what they have to do, because I feel like this trilogy, the Raimi trilogy, this is how this and Spider-Man Homecoming are two examples of how Spider-Man is supposed to be. He's not supposed to be no freaking douche bag like in The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm sorry, but that's how the only way I can refer to Andrew Garfield's version is that he is just a complete jerk. But these performances were both of them are really good. He said raising hormones, they never learn. And now we see what's going on with her father. And in the yes, MJ has a very hard life with her family. So I see what was its situation. This was one of 2002's biggest hits. It was, and I felt like they really did succeed at. And you see him trying to, you see him talking to himself about MJ, and that's pretty nice. And he's trying to get on the bus, but these bullies just do him so wrong. But that's what I like. That's what I like about this versus Spider-Man. And Sam Raimi is a fan of the Spider-Man character, so he did what he had to do. Now, the different versions of the script were James Cameron's version of Electro and Sandman remain antagonists, and David Cobb substituted the Green Goblin and added Dr. Octopus as secondary villain, but Raimi felt the Green Goblin and father and son thing between Norman and Peter Parker should be more interesting. And then Scott Rosenberg did rewrite some of the material, but I like the organic web shooters. I like the organic web shooters. The web shooters are pretty fine with here. I don't mind that it's not the mechanical web shooters, but it's alright. And this was the first film, so you can't have everything in the first movie. You see this high school sequence with him, and I do have some fun facts as we go through this. Now, this was done exactly 100 and this was something 100 and they did this scene 100 million times, 120 times. I think that's how they did it. They did it multiple times to without any use of CGI, and that's pretty cool. Now, this scene always cracked me up. With Spider-Man, he has the fork stuck on his hands with spider webs, and he pulls the tray to Flash Thompson, who's played by Joe Manganiello. And now he's going to be playing Deathstroke in DC's cinematic universe. And so he leaves, and all of them were just laughing at him. And then he's getting his locker, and then his spider sense kicks in, and he sees paper being thrown, a bug flying, people throwing spitballs, Joe Flash Thompson, and I won't want to fight me. And then this school fight between Peter and Flash. This is cool. And Peter doesn't have a clue what's going on. And then MJ's telling him Harry to help him, but he just it's all yours, man. And he fighting back, and he just completely throws him onto the principal and makes the principal spill his stuff. I admit, this is very classy, very cool, very awesome. And MJ and Harry, they are they're completely shocked at what just happened. And now he's just in the little wall, and you see that his hand, his spider stuff, the powers are starting to kick in, which I really do like. And he starts to crawl up on the wall in the streets, brick wall. This was this is one of the best things I remember from this movie. I remember watching this on VHS in elementary school so many times, and I really enjoy watching it every single time. And you see him just basically
Hey, let me know if you call back in.
jumping around, running around. He's getting into his powers. Now we have one of the funniest things in this movie. Really like this part. And then go web. this was this part. This part was always funny to me. Even when I first saw the film, go web, go. Then he just really just waits to get into it. And then he tries to use the webs. I don't mind how the webs are. It's organic web shooters, not the mechanical ones in the Amazing Spider-Man. Again, I'm trying not to compare too heavily. Sally Ho. And he and he just goes home without any clue what's happened to him. I'm surprised no one's watching this. I'm trying to do this. And he sees a note. I like the scenes with Uncle Ben and Peter Parker are really great. Uncle Ben and Peter Parker. Now you see MJ and Peter talking, and I don't care what anyone says. This is the much better couple than Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, because I do like Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man, their chemistry, but the problem I have with the problem I have is that when you see what they do to her, to Emma Stone in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I literally just want to punch somebody for whoever did that. And because that was unnecessary for what they did. And they're asking each other what they're going to do as after high school. And their chemistry is pretty great here. Kirsten Dunst is pretty great. Tobey Maguire is really great here. I defend these two like crazy as Peter and MJ, because they had the better chemistry than Andrew and Emma. The only reason why I say that is because what you did do to Emma Stone in the second Amazing Spider-Man movie really does make me mad. And that was unnecessary for you to sit there and kill off Emma Stone like that. But anyways, sometimes, yeah, I do like the dialogue that's written here. David Crow and the one guy who rewrote some of the script for the movie. He did a really good job here. I don't know. What and yeah, whatever is going on for him is not pretty good. You're gonna lie up Broadway. I really do like the performances in here. They're really great. These scenes here are just anytime MJ and Peter have a scene together. I like the dialogue here. They're pretty cool. I don't mind them. And Peter sees that he's trying to get a car, but that plan doesn't quite work. We have one person watching, so let's keep watching, y'all. So far, I am exactly 32 minutes in, where he's trying to find a car and he's trying to create his costume. Amateur wrestling. He sees an ad for amateur wrestling for 3 minutes in the ring. Colorful characters are included. And he's thinking about MJ and he's going over costume possibilities. I like when he's looking at the costume possibilities, but the final costume that he used in the movie we will get to because it needs more color. I do like that. He adds a little bit of blue and red, just like the classic. Costume. That's pretty good. And this whole montage here, I think is pretty excellent. It's pretty magnificent. And there's a classic Spider-Man drawing from the comic, and you see Spider-Man seeing what he's doing with his web stuff, and then Aunt May is asking what's going on, and he's exercising, and he's been acting so strange. Yeah, when you have powers, yeah, you're gonna end up acting a lot more strange than you thought you would. And then Willem Dafoe sees the newspaper Oscorp is gonna lose Quest. This is the end of Norman Osborn, and he hears the laugh, and Willem Dafoe is trying to get out of his head. So yeah. And then this part here, these perform. Now this is where with now this card scene, the last scene where Uncle Ben is alive. This sequence here is really good. I like the conversation in here and the classic phrase, with great power comes great responsibility. I really did like that. And they haven't talked for too long. And he didn't start the fight. You can't run away from your problems. He's saying he's changing, and then he's refusing to listen to him. And what he's basically telling him is that the man is going to, boy is going to become the man that he's going to be for the rest of his life. And what he's basically trying to say is this the just because he messed with you doesn't mean he does what that and this moment here is just it's heartbreaking, but it's also a really good moment. It's very heart. Very, those last words are where he says, "Stop pretending to be." That was just that was that was kind of harsh, but pretty. But you gotta have some kind of emotional moment, and the movie's only 2 hours and 2 minutes, so it's not as long as the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Now we're at the Bonesaw wrestling part, which is another, which this entire movie I remember a lot because I rewatched it so many times and photographic memory. I know exactly what's gonna happen next, just like the other two. Um, and cameo by Bruce Campbell from The Evil Dad. That's really cool to see, and it's just female wrestlers. So that, that's pretty cool to see that. I really enjoy that. We got one person watching, and we have no people liking this. Um, and Octavia Spencer here, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool cameo by Octavia Spencer. I forgot she was in this movie, but now she's in here. This wrestling match is just pretty cool, but when you get to what we're about to see next, so that's pretty awesome. Okay. So, yeah, 43 minutes. Bonesaw McGraw with the pay. Pay to the human spider. That was kind of funny when Bruce Campbell says a human spider. That's the best you got. Paid to the terrifying, deadly, the Amazing Spider-Man. That was awesome, the way he said that. And here he goes. This fight between him and Bonesaw. This is pretty cool. And the girls are just looking at him like that. And they're all throwing popcorn at him, and they're seeing what happened, and they all of them is like chanting kill him, and then they lock the gates. It's sign up for a cage match, and they're all getting happy because they lock him in the cage. And then he's like, I ain't signed up for a cage match. That was funny, and they locked the gates at this time. Take the chain off. You're going nowhere. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. And he pins this guy in 2 minutes. And here is one of the funniest things. Did your grandmother give it to you? That was funny. he's very funny, and he's hitting him with the chair, and, and until Spider-Man gets back up, and the girls want him to lose, but Peter Parker, Spider-Man ain't going down without a fight. And he kicks her. He kicks Bonesaw. This is pretty cool action scenes, but not the big action scene. We'll get to that. We are only at exactly 41 minutes into the movie. This may be the longest of. This may be another long one. But here we go. And so they only just gave him $100. And he feels cheated. The ad said 300. They said $3 grand for 3 minutes. You pay them into for that. I give you $100. You lucky to get that. And he says he needs that money. And then he said, "It's not my problem." That moment there, where he says it's not my problem, is like, I was like, wow, so harsh. So harsh. But I do like how it decided to go that route. It's pretty awesome. That there, don't you think? And then the bank robber is there, though, and Peter just lets him get away, and then he says the same exact thing that the man who gives Peter the $100 grand said to him. That's not my problem. I was like, first time I saw this scene, I was like, oh, okay, but I do understand what they were doing in this part of the movie. I really do like this scene here. It's just a really good scene. I think it's fun, magnificent. Now I do understand people complaining about Tobey Maguire, but I don't understand. Now, the next sequence we get to is the death of Uncle Ben, which was handled here with respect, care, and pride. Unlike the way he died in the 2012 reboots. I'm not comparing too harshly because I don't want to do that. But anyways, it's just this scene here is the death of Uncle Ben here is much more emotional and much more better handled than it is in 2012. Sorry about that. Come on now, stop it. I want to get through this movie. You didn't do this with Daredevil the whole time. Don't do it now. But I love this part of the movie here. I really like this scene. For all the right reasons. To be honest with you, it's just a pretty good, awesome moment in the film that I dig it. I dig the scene. But this scene where Peter finally taps to his powers with the costume he has on now, and just he is heartbroken, and I cared about Peter in the scene because he lost something near and dear to him. And no, Tobey Maguire, he doesn't cry too much. Who you think he is? You think he's a freaking baby? you people just over exaggerate. Don't you people over exaggerate too much, and it's not funny. Now we get into the awesome sequence here with this scene. I think is really good here. It's really amazing here to see what we're doing here, and I like this part of the movie, and it's Peter just really where he's finally swinging into this full form. A lot of people make fun of it and say the CGI is weird and that, but this movie had a good budget and knew how to use the budget right. Okay, so there's a difference between good CGI and bad CGI, and you see Peter stopping these criminals here. And the criminals are trying to get him to stop, but he does not back down. And the shots of New York City are just really good. Him using his spider powers to get to the truck and overcoming the obstacles are really cool. I did have the Spider-Man video game on GameCube, and I played it. It was a fun game. It was decent, but it could have been a little better. And then all the police there, and the carjacker and the killer of Uncle Ben is just, he's trying to run from Peter, but he realizes that he can't run from Peter. I really do like Tobey Maguire, how his stunts were pretty cool. They did add CGI in some parts, but Tobey Maguire, the stunts that he did, it's just really good. I like how the stunts are well handled in this movie. They're for a movie that's 15 years old, they look really good. And then this action is just nice. And then he's looking at him, seeing what previously just happened and what happened to Uncle Ben. So he decides not to kill him. He got the gun at him, but and then he just falls, and then they got him, and then the look on Toby's face at what just happened to his uncle is very sad, very tragic, and the cops are looking for him, but they don't find him whatsoever. And they realize that he's gone, and he's left, and you see him crying over the loss of someone near and dear to him, and this scene, and it's with him looking at the city, and then him going to Aunt May and telling her what happened, and then she's crying like no. And just the way their expressions on both of their faces when Peter tells him, it's just, that's good direction there. That's good writing there. Good directing by Sam Raimi. Great writing by David Co-op. And now we are into this scene with the guy that you saw at the beginning with this one guy with the glasses. I really do love this part of the movie, and then they are planning to put Osborn out of business, but eventually explosions, and then the first time we see Green Goblin, and we'll talk about more Green Goblin in a minute, but I have to say the laugh of the Green Goblin is really cool. And the design of his glider is really nice too. And then at the same time, you see the graduation of Peter and his friends. And I really do like how the graduation played out. And the friendship is just the core of the movie. And then you see Willem Dafoe not paying attention to his own son and paying more attention to Peter. It's like the father-son relationship. And he's like, if you ever... And then Harry sees what is going on with this one guy. And he's like, and Willem Dafoe is like, if there's anything you need, give me a call. But yet, he's going to be the one trying to kill Peter, as we will see through the rest of the movie. So, yeah, I do. And this scene here with Rosemary Harris and Tobey Maguire, where they're talking about Uncle Ben here. And Maguire, again, the look on his face, him crying and him upset. People make fun of this guy in the scenes where he has to show emotion, but if it was one of you guys out there who makes fun of Tobey Maguire, you wouldn't be happy either. Because when you lose someone near and dear to you, that is not cool. And I just think that it's just wrong here. And just these lines of dialogue that they're saying here is just really great. I love how this scene plays out. I can't praise Sam Raimi enough with the direction. The way this movie is shot is very good. The way this movie is edited is pretty good. The editing, technical aspects of this movie are really interesting, really great. So I have to say that I really do enjoy how all the sequences plays out. The action sequences, the lighter sequences, and the intense moments in here, and the emotional moments. And that's good. It's good for filmmaking standpoint. And then you see what he's about to do now, and he looks into the box and then he looks at the costume, and then he looks at the drawing of the Spider-Man, and he hears Uncle Ben saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And this is where we finally get to see Spider-Man in action saving people. I've always liked this montage of him saving people, and the music just goes right along with it. You see him stopping a bank robbery, and I love how the suit is designed. This is my favorite suit in the entire Spider-Man movie series. The suit in the 2012 movie looks like a freaking basketball suit. But they fixed that up with the second one. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man suit, even the Iron Spider-Man suit, is pretty good too. So I have to say that everyone is reacting towards Spider-Man saving people. And it's really good. The casting that was inspired by Superman. And you see what is happening. And then it's awesome. Spider-Man saving this woman. And here we are with the introduction of this 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 guy with the guitar. That was funny. Always funny every time I watch this movie. But it's the classic Spider-Man, and seeing him in action, that's great. And now we get introduced to the main guy in this movie, J. Jonah Jameson, played by Academy Award winner J.K. Simmons. Yes, J.K. Simmons. What can I say about J.K. Simmons in this role? He was made for this role. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to top him. Whoever plays him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't think they're going to be able to top him. What's he got to hide? And then you have the late Bill Nunn, and then Elizabeth Banks in this movie as Betty Brant. She's great in these, but she's kind of underused. But it was great to see Elizabeth Banks. J.K. Simmons, I loved him as Commissioner Gordon. I can't praise the guy as Commissioner Gordon enough. He's just great. You know? That's great. And then he just said the Julia Roberts joke, which is awesome. That's what I like about this movie. This movie is funny. It knows what it is. It's lighter. It's a lighter tone movie, superhero film, and you see, and now then he recognizes MJ. And then you see what is going on. And again, these scenes with Mary Jane and Peter are great, and you see this guy that she's working for is just Enric is just like, wow. And you see she's working as a waitress. But it's alright. You don't have to be... Yeah. I like her in this... Kirsten Dunst in this first movie. I love her in the other two as well. Granted, yeah, she's kind of a jerk to Peter Parker, but I can't blame her. It's some of the writing, but you could fix it up. But it's alright, though. And, again, David Cope, he did a good job writing these scenes out. Writing this entire script out. I mean, there's so many memorable quotes. And it's just pretty cool. And then that was pretty nice. He won't tell Harry, and you see him desperately trying to get the girl. Now, this next scene you see is the scene Peter and Harry and Norman, and I think, again, James Franco and Tobey Maguire, they have much better chemistry. Even when they're against each other in Spider-Man 3 in the beginning and trying to put the past behind them in the second one, they have great chemistry. This is something that I feel like Andrew Garfield and Dane DeHaan lacked. I didn't buy the friendship of Dane DeHaan and Andrew Garfield for a minute. Not even a second. And that's very sad because Maguire and Franco had the better chemistry. And the scenes with Willem Dafoe in here, Willem Dafoe, he's great as the Green Goblin. I know a lot of people make fun of the suit, but There's nothing wrong with this suit. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Power Ranger suit, but I like that they decided to make it like this. Take a good look at that. This is not meant to be laughable. I buy Willem Dafoe in these. I like Willem Dafoe in this costume as Green Goblin, and we're on to another action set piece of action with basically Peter Parker's trying to get a job in photography. And again, you people want to complain about suit and him being too funny, too lighthearted. It's pretty. I like those sequences. This suit is really good too. I like the scenes. I like this little suit. Again, this is the best suit in the entire Spider-Man filmography. It really is, because this is very accurate to the comics, despite it not being the way people who love Spider-Man comics want it to be. And Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland are the definitive Spider-Mans. There is no Andrew Garfield Spider-Man to me. Well, I do like Amazing Spider-Man 2, but that's the only Amazing Spider-Man movie that is still somewhat watchable for me. Now you just see J.K. Simmons in this scene with Tobey Maguire, and he's trying to and he's talking to Betty Brant. Tobey Maguire is. Elizabeth Banks is pretty good, and Peter just got hired, which is awesome. I love them. I love the sequences like that. They're cool, fun, and you see Oscorp, and this is where we have the board meeting where we start to see some craziness into Harry Osborn. I mean, Norman Osborn. I'm sorry, I keep getting them mixed up, but Willem Dafoe, the way this scene plays out is just like pretty cool, and it's like, am I? Like, he gives you the sinister look that he is the Green Goblin, and there was some other casting choices that they could have gone with, but I don't mind the casting choice for Norman Osborn, and basically the board of directors of Oscorp is saying they need him out of his own company by 30 days. And he started this company. That is a very great thing. And the board is unanimous. We're announcing at the World Unity Festival, and that is where we have the first sequence, and big action scene. And they're telling him he's out. He's done. He has nothing to live for. And I think that was a little bit harsh. Now we get to the Unity Festival. I like this part of the movie. The Unity Festival is really, really fun. And Macy Gray is a little small cameo in her song that she sings. It's pretty cool. And there she is, Macy Gray. It's all the amazing, colorful balloons, and Peter is taking photos of it, and he's trying to find Mary Jane, and it's amazing, talking to Harry. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool, and Peter's not too jealous. And I do like the dress that she has. It's I like the dress. It kind of reminds me of a Chinese like dress. And then Kirsten Dunst and James Franco, they're doing great here, and then in this scene. And then Harry goes to look for his father, and that was pretty awesome. But I'm going to tell you right now that the Green Goblin is, here he is. Here we go. For big first action scene. There is. And, oh yeah, there is a singular promo on the DVD, the 2-disc DVD. Let's be new this year. And then here comes the pumpkin bombs, and everybody's like, "What is that? That's our glider." And again, the glider and the suit that Willem Dafoe, it's a really amazing suit. It took a lot of stuff to put that suit together, and it's so many different pieces. But Willem Dafoe, he did 90% of his own stunts, and that's really great for an actor to do your own stunts. It's just cool. I think it's awesome. I think it's spectacular, fantastic. And he throws pumpkin bombs, and the pumpkin bombs blow up. And then the board of directors are getting killed. And then the police are trying to stop. You got a Stan Lee cameo. This is my favorite Stan Lee cameo in Marvel in general. But in the MCU, I'm going to have to say Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I don't know. But it's so many cameos Stan Lee has done in the MCU. So I don't know. And you get the classic awesome Superman reference there with him ripping the shirt off. That was an awesome homage to Superman. Willem Dafoe throwing the pumpkin bomb at the board directors and saying, "Out am I." I find it pretty menacing to me. And then, "Hello, my dear." And then seeing Spider-Man, Green Goblin face off in this first action scene, I think the action here is done pretty well, especially for a 2002 movie. And you also had other movies with action. You had Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which had that final battle on Geonosis, which I love that sequence. And I like Attack of the Clones. And the Battle of Helm's Deep was very cool in the Two Towers, but it couldn't get no cooler than this. And then seeing Green Goblin in the suit, yeah, it's kind of like a Power Ranger suit, but I don't mind the Power Rangers like suit. It doesn't make him look less menacing to me. It makes him look pretty menacing, to be honest, for me. And he is menacing in the suit, and he's chasing Spider-Man with the glider. And Spider-Man's running, and then he's using his spider-like powers. And this first confrontation is just 3 confrontations. And Mary Jane's begging for someone to help her. And a lot of people complain that she's always a damsel in distress. And I do agree with that criticism, but it's fun. It's okay with me. It's not like in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 where you had to go in, come in there for no reason, just to help Peter Parker and get killed off. So you people have a problem with that, so whatever. We'll meet again, Spider-Man. We're at 1 hour and 9 minutes, and for just him saving Mary Jane is pretty cool. And just pretty cool sequence here. And just the shot of everyone just cheering at him, cheering him on. Love those moments in here. And then she doesn't know who it is, and then I do like the classic catchphrase where it says, "Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." This movie and the other 3, and Spider-Man Homecoming, they are Spider-Man, as well as the 1990s animated series. Yeah, That's why I said unpopular opinion. I'm not going to take it back. Works and puts a smile on my face every time. And this was the movie superhero movie we needed after the 9/11 stuff. And James Franco is talking to MJ, and Peter just came in. I got one person watching, so I wonder who could that be. But anyways, him calling Mary Jane. Tobey Maguire is like, who is she talking about? Just parts of like that is really cool. I'm really honest. And she's a little rattled. and then Harry says, "I should have told you about us, but you should know I'm crazy about it. It's just he never got a chance to be with her." And then Toby says, "You're right, I didn't." And just again, this chemistry towards these two actors is just very, very magnificent. And then Toby's like, whatever it is, somebody has to stop it. And then we fade to black, and then we fade back in. This time we see Norman Osborn and talking to two mirrors. And fun fact here for all you Evil Dead fans, mirrors is a part of Sam Raimi's like little directing skills. Now, scenes of New Yorkers throwing trash at the Green Goblin and Spider-Man perched alongside the American flag were added after the terrorist attack to reflect the city's sense of unity and patriotism. And the color costume considerations meant Spider-Man was shot in front of a green screen while Green Goblin was shot in front of a blue one. Now, this scene where you see the other half of Norman in the mirror, Willem Dafoe just pulls off this part really good and really magnificently well. The original trailer for this movie showed the theft of a bank with the robbers making a getaway in a helicopter, and a close-up helicopter was shown until the helicopter stopped, apparently caught in mid-air. And as the camera zoomed out of it, it's shown that the helicopter is caught in between spider webs, suspended between the two twin towers of the World Trade Center. But they had to change the trailer after the attacks. So, I think you could have still went along with it, but at the same time, I'm alright that you didn't. And you see both of them. And what the Green Goblin is talking about, that he wants Norman to try and get Green Goblin, Spider-Man to join him, and J.K. Simmons and Tobey Maguire is talking about it. And how about Spider-Man? And he's trying to explain to J. Jonah Jameson that he doesn't know what's doing, and he doesn't trust anybody. That is true. And he said, "Trust my barber." How anything J.K. Simmons says in these movies are pretty funny. And then Green Goblin shows up and tries to kill J. Jonah Jameson, but Spider-Man shows up, says, "Put him down, Chief." I like that. And he's like, he's the one who can bring them. And it's like, I don't know who you are. Sit him down, tough guy. He said, let mom and dad off. And then he put Spider-Man to sleep, and like, that everyone is seeing that. And then, that is CGI with him falling down. But here we have our second confrontation between Goblin and Peter. And this this part is very quotable here. And I are not so different. I'm just gonna sit here and watch this, but you guys stick around and watch the movie with me. I chose my path. You chose the way to hero. And they found you amusing for a while, the people of this city. But the one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fall, die trying. In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother? It's a real truth. There are 8 million people in this city, and those tempted masses exist for the sole purpose of fitting the exceptional people onto the shoulders. You, me, were exceptional. I could squash you like a bug right now, but I'm offering you a choice. Join me and we imagine what we could accomplish together, what we would create. I do like this part of the movie when he says, think about it, hero. That part was just kind of pretty awesome as well. And then we see newspapers that Spider-Man and Green Goblins are, and then people are like, they want Spider-Man. And then he was reflecting on what the Green Goblin said to him. And now we see another scene with Mary Jane, which will eventually lead into our upside down kiss, the iconic upside down kiss. Even when I saw the trailer for this movie, that was my favorite part of the movie. That's my favorite part of the movie, is the upside down kiss anyway. That and the final act battle of the movie. Everything else is great, but those two are my two favorite parts. And this chemistry here is pretty nice. I do like how this plays out. And yes, the Jameson subordinates is telling him about Spider-Man. One of them, it says Eddie's been trying to get a picture of him for weeks. That's a reference to Eddie Brock, who will later appear in Spider-Man 3. And this movie held the record for the biggest opening day ever with $39.4 million, and it was broken by Spider-Man 2 and currently held by Spider-Man 3. And now we have these people who are New Yorkers, gangbangers, who are trying to hurt Mary Jane. Now, Spider-Man's webbing in the film is made out of foam materials and fishing line, and also enhanced with CGI. And then Mary Jane's trying to defend herself, but they're trying to attack her. And another fun fact, this was the highest grossing film of 2002, and she sees Spider-Man fighting them, but it's Peter without his costume, without his mask, I should say. And the music with Danny Elfman here is just great. I love his score. For the other superhero movies he's done, I love his music in trying in any Tim Burton film. I just like his music in general and his music for Justice League. I can't praise that any more than I have. Junkie XL's music. I can't listen to a superhero movie music without a classic theme. Well, sometimes I can. Yeah, I can. Man of Steel. I do like the Hans Zimmer theme, but again, like I said in my Justice League review, if you guys seen either spoiler talk or the non-spoiler, it's very distracting. And here she is. That's upside down, kiss. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I have one thing to say about your Kiss in the Rain. You are not gonna top. There's no way you could have topped this. No way. No way. No how. That's what happens when you think you can be better than Tobey Maguire. But you can't. I like this scene here, and now we go on to the next day. Gorgeous shots of the city. I like the shots of the city, and we have another scene with Spider-Man saving a kid who's stuck in the fire. And before we get to the Thanksgiving thing, and yeah, she's trying to save her kid. Pretty good to me. Very fine. Now I know people is gonna end up asking me, what do you think of Spider-Man: The Infinity War trailer? I've seen photos of Spider-Man in the Iron Spider suits, but I have again I'm making a commitment that I will not watch any trailers for Infinity War because I don't want to be ruined by anything. So I did make that commitment. I made a commitment and I'm sticking to it. And Spider-Man saves the baby, and then he's like, "I'm not coming back, Chief," with the police. But he thinks it's a girl, but it's not. But here we go. Here we go. There's awesome action here. It's 4 a.m. 4 p.m. And we are an hour and 28 minutes into the podcast. And we are an hour and 23 minutes into the movie. So we have 37 minutes left. You're pathetic, predictable, like a moth to the flame. What about my generous proposal? Are you in? Are you out? Shoes out of your mind. Then he just throws the pumpkin bombs and then slow motion shots there. It's really nice. The slow motion is. There is a little bit of a cut, but this fight with them in the fire is pretty good. But the next fight, I don't understand with the next fight, which we'll get into. They were able to get away with that fight scene. It kind of felt like an R-rated battle, but it's a good thing you didn't go R-rated. And then he's gone, and then Goblin says, "No one says no to me." Now we cut to the Thanksgiving sequence, which does not go all as planned. And you see, Um, and you see what is going on. Alright. You see what's going on. And then Spider-Man comes from his routine. There we are. And then they're looking for Peter, and Peter is just wandering around. It's funny that he just keeps appearing and disappearing, but drip of blood from the cut he has is about to literally fall to the ground, and all brilliant, man. And then Norman thinks he heard a noise. I did like that they mentioned Dr. Kirk Connors firing the guy, Peter. And according to the visual effects supervisor, animating Spider-Man was the most sophisticated task he had to do at the time. Raimi wanted to convey the essence of being Spider-Man, the transition that occurs between being a man going through puberty and being a superhero. But the main difficulty was that as the character was masked, there was no context of eyes and mouth, and it immediately lost a lot of characterization, and the animators had to insert a lot of body language to his movements, so there would be some emotional context to it. So I do like that. That was kind of weird to see. He has two different knives, and and then they used the spider cam in the final sequence, but they used it more in the sequels. So the final battle between Spidey and Goblin, the CGI had to change the color of the blood pouring from Spider-Man's mouth to a clear liquid, indicating spits, and that was to ensure a PG-13 rating in the US and 12 rating in the UK. $100 million to produce and another $30 million to promote. That good promotion stuff. Now, originally, the theatrical release of the movie ends with Aerosmith's cover of the theme from Spider-Man, and it's heard on the official soundtrack, but they changed it for the DVD and release. And yeah, I do like Stan Lee's cameo in here, and what that was just so wrong. And for other actors, for Green Goblin, they tried to get Nicolas Cage, John Malkovich, Bill Paxton, John Travolta, and Robert De Niro. They were offered the part, as well as Billy Crudup, but they dropped out. But a lot of people was. Sam Raimi was convinced that Willem Dafoe was right for the part, and now we have another scene with Norman talking to the Green Goblin mask, and the man just does a good job. And I like that this is a combination of the Ultimate Spider-Man and the original Amazing Spider-Man series. So the version of Green Goblin that you see in this movie is from the original Amazing Spider-Man universe, while the incarnation of Mary Jane, the girl next door, is from the Ultimate Spider-Man series. So I do like that. And this movie did cause some controversy in England because the sequels is like this. So the distributor had requested a PG rating, but it was denied due to the levels of personal violence. But parents complained about the decision, and the 12 at the time was a legal age limit. Spider-Man was re-released with the new anniversary, and along with the marketing campaign saying that children could go see the film at the time of this movie's release. And this is David Coop's fourth screenplay to hold the opening for box office opening weekend box office records. The other ones were The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible 1, and the original Jurassic Park. That was pretty cool. So I do like that they went to... Now this scene, after what the Green Goblin has done to Aunt May, you see Peter in the hospital with her, and then he looks at the picture of Uncle Ben, Peter, and Aunt May, and then he sees Green Goblin there. So yeah, he's at the hospital, and then you see Kirsten Dunst, and pure. I know people is gonna hate all over Kirsten Dunst. She's not a bad actress to me. I think she's a pretty good actress. I've seen worse actresses. Okay. And then they do use the Wilhelm scream in the wrestling match. I forgot to point that out. But so far I'm at an hour and 37 minutes, and in this hangout, in this commentary, and I am an hour and 32 minutes, so we have 27 minutes left of this movie. So now we're seeing, if you're watching the movie with me in the UK or US or any other part of the country, you're seeing these two once again interact with each other. And the interactions between the characters in this movie is what I really think Sam Raimi and David Coop achieved at the most, besides doing the character justice. They did the character justice. And I feel like that was pretty awesome. Sam Raimi, he is a fan of Spider-Man, and it definitely shows through these three films. I'm sorry, I am a big defender of Spider-Man 3. Even in the commentary for Spider-Man 3 I did with a couple of my YouTube friends on my other YouTube friend Anthony Jenkins' channel, I was the only one there in the commentary to defend Spider-Man 3. So I was basically the lone survivor. And guess what? I'm not afraid of it. But this chemistry between them is pretty cool. And the way they look into each other is just really good. Just what Peter is saying to her is pretty good. And just these lines of dialogue is just pretty great. I don't care how many people criticize the writing between MJ and Peter. They're not the worst choices. When I get to the Amazing Spider-Man, just wait until I criticize the writing for that movie. Because I am literally going to bash the writing, some of the writing on the movie. And then Harry just walks in and he sees what's happening. And then he feels betrayed. And then he just go run to his dad. And his dad says, "You were right." But James Franco's great in here. And then this scene here with Willem Dafoe and James Franco here is really great. Saying you were right about MJ. She's in love with Peter Parker. And how does he feel about her? And then the sympathy that his dad feels, and he says, I haven't always been for the, haven't I? You're an important man, I understand. That's no excuse. And he says, I'm proud of you. I have lost sight of somewhere, but I'll make it up to you. Dafoe, much better than Chris Cooper. Just said that. The sentimental music in some of these sequences are really good, and and then now we get this scene with with Aunt May and Peter. I like this performance. And I do like when she says, "You do too much. You're not Superman, you know." He may not be Superman, but he is Spider-Man. And he's trying to make time for people. For the people he cares about. Just like with Superman. You grab me and say, Aunt May, is that an angel? The angel, is that an angel part is much better here than it was in the Phantom Menace. I'm just saying. She's still his girl. Isn't it? Is that? She doesn't know, because it is true. He is mysterious all the time, but he is Spider-Man. And with great power comes great responsibility. And now we get into my second favorite part of this entire film. Which, right here. And then, here's the Green Goblin voice on the phone. Can Spider-Man come out and play? And we get into the climax. I've always enjoyed this climax in this movie. It's just a fun climax and very intense. I do like the reference that they make to Batman Forever, and here we are. So MJ wakes up and she's basically on top of this skyscraper thing with the bus full of people, and just the way this entire action sequence plays out, it plays out very well. It plays very good, and then Green Goblin and the hectic chaos and him saying "Itsy Bitsy Spider." That was fun. That was funny when I first saw the movie, and it's still funny when I watch it. There's nothing wrong with the suit here to me. I think the suit is just fine. And boom. He blew up one of the buildings. Good job. Good job. And then the kids are stuck in this on the box thing ladder, and then the reference that they made to Batman Forever, I like where in Batman Forever where the Riddler and Two-Face told Batman to choose to save Dr. Chase Meriden or save Robin, but he ended up choosing both. That's what I like here, and I like that they went to Batman Forever for that kind of decision. Now here we go, Spider-Man. This is why only fools are heroes, because you never know when some lunatic will come along with a sadistic choice. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the innocent children. And then just the way Green Goblin is threatening Spider-Man in this scene is just, I just really like. I like the reference to Batman Forever. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty good reference. See how a hero is rewarded. Don't do it, Goblin. We are who we choose to be. Now, and then, whoa. And then, seeing how Spider-Man reacts to it, and he decides to go ahead and save both the children and the kids. And that, I just think, is pretty awesome for him to do. He's saving both of them, while also trying to fight off the Green Goblin. And then MJ's scared to let go because she's afraid she's gonna fall to her death. And then the Green Goblin is not happy. And then the people of New York is fighting Green Goblin, and just this is awesome part, and then just this, it's a cool action sequence here that you got. And while it's not action packed, the action is still nice. Hold tight and go quick. And then she decides to go while Green Goblin comes and attacks Spidey. And then this action here is just nice here. Even for 2002, the Sam Raimi he knocked it out of the park with this and the sequel and Spider-Man 3. I am Spider-Man 3's. I'm the biggest defender of Spider-Man 3. And one of the bigger defenders of Amazing Spider-Man 2, despite their flaws they have. But this is when you realize that Spidey is getting some backup from the New Yorkers, and they all taking up, saying you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them. I do like that, and then they're safe and they're alive. So all the New Yorkers and the kids cheer out. But Green Goblin just takes him and this is where you get this awesome showdown that I was saying that they have to color in the blood that he was spitting out to make it look like spit. So, and then half of the mask is blown off. this sequence is intense, okay? This is the most intense and violent sequence I've seen in any movie possible. Misery, misery, misery. That's what you chosen. I offered you friendship, and you spat in my face. I'm just like, this action is just cool. I love the action here. It's just fun. This fight here is intense. It got real. Stuff got personal in this scene. Um, especially, I've always liked this final fight between Green Goblin and Green Goblin and Spider-Man. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you guys see my face. But it's a pretty good scene. I love this moment. It's awesome. Just yeah. And then and this is where Goblin really goes off the deep end. You spun your last web, Spider-Man. Had you not been so selfish, your girlfriend's death would have been quick and painless. And he knows who's in the mask. He knows that it's the villain. He knows that it's Norman, and he tries to kill Peter with the glider, and Peter's not backing down. He easily just takes down Green Goblin, and he throws a brick wall at him. Woo! Get him! Get up! Get up! Get up! And then Peter Parker, Spider-Man just keep punching and punching. So we have 13 minutes left of this awesome movie, and we're gonna get through the rest of it. I told you this movie's not that long. It's 2 hours and 1 minute. And then it's Norman saying it's him, and then he takes off the mask, and then Peter is stunned and he's shocked, and then he's like, "Thank God for you." And then he's like, "You killed those people on the back." And he said, "Goblin killed. I had nothing to do with it. Don't let him get me again. Protect me. You tried to kill Aunt May. You tried to kill Mary Jane, but not you." And then you see him press the button with the glider, and this is where the conflict between Harry and Peter comes into play when it comes to the glider. And then great. Godspeed, Spider-Man. And the glider. And there is the glider killed him. And like I said, it sets the conflict between Harry and Peter into place. And he tells Peter, his last words, "Don't tell Harry." And Harry's reaction to Peter, and he's like, "What have you done?" And the goblin hurt him. And we get another good shot of the city, and again, you just and then James Franco's like, "What have you done?" Again, this sets up gets started in the end of this movie and in the other two. I'm so sorry, Harry. And then we have the funeral. And then he vows that he's gonna get revenge on Peter. But it's not Peter's fault. So it isn't his fault for what happened. It's just thank God for you, Peter. You're the only family I have. But yeah, he's gonna try and kill. You're gonna try to kill Peter in Spider-Man 3, which I've already did a commentary on, so I don't really have to talk about it anymore. Now we see Aunt May and MJ talking, and here we have our final and just our little final scene before we go into our credits with MJ and Peter, and then Peter tells MJ that he can't be with her and be Spider-Man at the same time, but I think the performance in here with both of these actors, Maguire and Dunst, is really good. And she tells him that thank you for saving her. I do like that part of the movie. So yeah, that was pretty nice actually. I hope to make it through this. Just a great scene in here. A really great scene. I love this part. So I can't really complain too much. And so they have the kiss before he goes to leave and walks off. So and I like the chemistry between them, and this narration is really good. The narration is just great, you know? And then he said, "I will always be there to take care of you." I love when he says that. I like that part of the movie. And it's just a great ending to the movie. So I have to sit here and say that this is a good movie moment, to be honest. So yeah, I will be sticking around during the credits. So and he just walks off, and MJ just looks at him, and we're about to get this good shot, this awesome shot to close out the Spider-Man movie. This is how it's done to close out the Spider-Man movie with Spider-Man and the American flag. I love that. Spider-Man running around through the city, and this is actually the main menu. On the DVD. I loved it. I love it. We are now at 2 hours, and now we are at an hour and 55 minutes, and we're about, and here it comes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Now the end credits. I like how they got the end credits. They got them all like web-like and pretty cool. So, yes. I'm just gonna watch the end credits as I talk about this. But the score in here, I love the songs that they played. They played the song Hero by Nickelback. What We're All About. Chad Kroeger featuring Josie Scott sings Hero. Sum 41 says What We're All About. And they play the original 1967 Spider-Man theme. Let me just say that this movie is just... This is still an awesome movie. 15 years later. I know some people will complain and say the movie hasn't aged well, but to me, this movie aged just fine. And it's the first Spider-Man movie, so what can you expect? And sure, yes, not a whole lot of people may like Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, but I love this movie. I think this is a great start to the series. I've praised this movie twice, both my original review from last year and my re-review, which I'm thinking I'm gonna delete my original reviews from, and because I like my re-reviews better, but but at the same time I might keep them. But anyway, I love this movie. It is the superior origin story. It did not take too long to get to what we want. It's only 121 minutes. Good acting, good directing. You have a great lead in Tobey Maguire. Great love interest with Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. Awesome villain. Yeah. Awesome freaking costume with both Spidey and Green Goblin. I don't care who makes fun of this suit. It's not boring. It's not a chore to get through. It's not overcomplicated. And it's fun times. And me praising this movie the whole time as I'm talking about the movie. This movie is one of my favorite superhero movies ever. And it started a great trilogy of films. Spider-Man 2 is even better. And Spider-Man 3, despite the issues I have with it, I still think there is some fun to be had with Spider-Man 3. It's not the worst thing I've seen in my life. I think people goes overboard on these Tobey Maguire movies saying that Tobey Maguire sucks. He's a terrible Spider-Man. Yada 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 yada. You guys should be happy that we got a Spider-Man movie in 2002. Because without this movie, without X-Men, and without Blade, we wouldn't be having all these good superhero movies. Or some of them have been bad. You wouldn't have the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You wouldn't have the DC Cinematic Universe. You wouldn't have Avengers Infinity War. And this movie deserves its recognition. It deserves all the praise it got. It deserved the award, the critical reception it got. It deserved the fan base it has. This is the best Spider-Man origin. Like I just said in my movie versus movie, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 you can't even hold a candle to this freaking movie. All right, you cannot hold a candle. And again, my grade is still an A+ movie. I still love this movie. I have no issues with it whatsoever. Some of the CGI, yeah, but that's only a minor nitpick. But I'm fine with what they were doing. This is the very first Spider-Man movie, so people chill out with all that. So, that was my commentary for Spider-Man 2002. I hope you guys enjoyed it. stick around for the Amazing Spider-Man 1 commentary coming possibly this Saturday or this Sunday, because that's gonna be a mix of both me liking and ranting. Spider-Man Homecoming commentary, I don't know. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Spider-Man 2002. Let me know what you guys think of this commentary down below. Did you like the commentary? Did you hate it? And I will see you guys soon for more reviews. And if you like this, you can come here and we can have a good time. I'll see you guys later. Bye.